Today's topic is what's not working on LinkedIn, how I see people trying to sell on LinkedIn, and I think they're making some strategically, tactically bad decisions. The three things I see consistently are only 5 spots left, limited opportunity. Syndicators pointing out, hey, 50% sold. We've got this great deal. It's in Tacoma or it's in Seattle, and it's an awesome deal. It's 50% subscribed. There's a limited time. We're trying to they're trying to oversell this thing. It often may be true. I'm guilty of it too. We'll tell our investors, hey, we're 90% subscribed. We will tell them that. But as a sales technique, is it really necessary to put pressure on people who are already stressed about a big financial decision? I always worry about that. So 5 spots left, limited ability, 50% subscribed, or we're getting oversubscribed, book a call, like these big call to actions. I think those are really problematic in this space, specifically in the real estate investment side, the syndication side, the brokerage side. I think there's enough stress from the investor side. These kinds of big, high pressure tactics really undermine your credibility. Anybody remember Dan Kennedy? Roughly 25 years ago, he was super big in the real estate marketing world, and he really pushed this scarcity tactic onto a lot of us old school real estate guys. So we grew up in this Dan Kennedy wave of scarcity sells. I don't think that works on LinkedIn anymore. Here's how I try to do it. Educational content specifically around a pain point. So let's break that down. Educational content around a specific pain point. The most important piece to that sentence is the education. This whole syndication world is pretty new, so it's not really well understood. Let's say you got a 82-year-old grandmother, she passes away, you get a large inheritance, there's $500,000. Most of that money is going to be tied up in the stock market. You get that pass through, all of a sudden you've got this large wealth event. Most times people are just going to put it back in the stock market. There's a lot of education that needs to happen in the investor community around what to do with a large influx of capital to a novice investor. Educational content around this investing world is super important, but that's what I like to do, right? I like to work with investors that have come into a newly acquired amount of money. I like educating. I like talking about the values of transferring from a normal 401k into a self-directed IRA, self-directed Roth, right? I like to work with investors like that. This educational process is super important, and you get away from this whole why now crap, this whole you gotta do it now mentality. And how I quote unquote sell on LinkedIn is based on education. We also provide free resources, right? So in this example of 250,000 coming in to a significant wealth event, if you need help with an IRA, we can do that. If you need help setting up a new SDIR, self-directed IRA, we can help you do that. We have 30% of the investors that we have all got IRAs. And so we've got a pretty solid track record working with various different IRA custodians. And then the other piece that I do that gives me meaning and validation on LinkedIn is social proof. We have lots of other investors who like interacting with us. We've built a pretty solid community of fund managers, whether they're individual small fund manager owners, small businesses that are being started, or whether we've got really, really happy investors that have reinvested. Gosh, I think we only had 10 investors for Laurelhurst. Maybe it might be 11, but 5 of those investors are from our first project, right? So even before campus is done with the final exit, 15 investors for campus, a third of those people came in that were investors in campus and invested into Laurelhurst. So this idea of consistent social proof, showing that our investors are transferring money from one deal to another deal and just daisy chaining, rolling, like that social proof is super valuable. Showing your success, let your investors tell other investors. We've had several investors refer other people to us. So, I mean, it's growing pretty organically. So those are the three things I would stop doing. This whole limited opportunity, buy now, book a call. And then the three things that I consistently do is that education, the free resources around solving the IRA problem, and then social proof. So those are the things I typically do. You're building a brand on LinkedIn. You're building a business that is going to grow based on your reputation. Instead of trying to sell to them, this is called push marketing. You want to attract investors to you. If you can attract those investors, you're going to be a whole lot better off. It's going to be so much easier for you. This whole Dan Kennedy push mentality out there from 25, 15 years ago. LinkedIn is really about building that community, building that trust, attraction marketing. That's what I try to do. I hope that helps. Don't force people. Don't manipulate people. Be kind to them. Give them the resources they need. Help them understand. And I think they'll be happy to do business with you.